I do like a Jalen Hurts prop. And of course, you want to make sure your props align with your picks, but you can get Jalen Hurts over 8.5 carries at minus 110. Now you're saying, hey, weren't you just talking about how good that Chiefs defense is? Yeah, I was, but this is not a yardage prop. This is a carries prop. So if you look at the totality of the season, Jalen Hurts has gone over 8.5 carries in 7 of 9 games. And I know he's been a little banged up, but if you talk about how injuries are going to help someone over the course of a couple weeks, an extra week layoff, this is a layoff that will certainly help Jalen Hurts. This guy's so tough, and he's been just pushing through. But if game script is a thing, and if the Eagles need a play late, I would not be surprised at Jalen Hurts taking off out of the pocket under pressure and trying to make something happen. I think he hits this, and it's only minus 110. So over 8.5 carries for Jalen Hurts.
I looked at his yardage prop because I do think there is a chance that he can exceed this by a lot. Because in the Super Bowl, we saw a lot of Jalen Hurts using his feet. He ran for 70 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I think if you're looking for an anytime touchdown, Jalen Hurts is the way to go. He has scored a touchdown in 4 of his last 5 with his feet. We all know the tush push, the brotherly shove is one of the hardest plays to defend in the NFL. And I think that's probably worth a look here, especially at plus money. Jalen Hurts to record a touchdown with his feet is plus 125. I guess he could catch a touchdown pass too, but probably more likely that he's going to run it in. Granted, if you like the Chiefs, maybe not a correlating bet, but still, I think when you go against a good defense, usually quarterback rushing plays are a solid option. The only thing that sucks for Jalen Hurts is that it's hard to make a case for it just because he hasn't had some major rushing games, or at least they have been very inconsistent. Because tonight the number is relatively high at 36.5. If you look at his game logs, he's only hit this in 2 of his last 5 games. Granted, last time around against the Cowboys, had 36 rushing yards, but also he's somebody coming off a bye and somebody who should be a little bit less banged up. We know he's had issues with that knee. So I do think that if there is a first down to be had and we see some pressure coming from that Chiefs defense, I think Jalen Hurts takes off and runs. So I think either his anytime touchdown prop, his rushing props, are worth a look. What is the biggest matchup potential problem that this Eagles team can bring to the table going against still a very good Kansas City defense? What's the matchup you're looking at tonight?
It's going to be the run game. Yeah, it's going to be the run game. And if DeAndre Swift coupled with Jalen Hurts are going to be able to be effective against this defensive front. I mean, we all know short yardage situation. There's nobody better in football than the Eagles, whether it's the brotherly shove or now they've added some new wrinkles off of that. And we all watched the Super Bowl a year ago. While these teams are a little bit different, I mean, short yardage was automatic in the Super Bowl for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was the best player on the field in the Super Bowl. They lost, we all know, and it was Mahomes that was MVP, but Jalen Hurts was really the MVP of that game. And so it sounds pretty obvious, but like that's the key, I think, for Kansas City is can they prevent these from being 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s? Can they make sure these are 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4s to where the push is not really in play? But that's the matchup issue for Kansas City is going to be short yardage. And if it becomes that kind of game, then I think Philadelphia will be able to move the ball.
Alex, you've heard this plenty of times, how good Andy Reid is coming off the bye week. But why is he so good coming off the bye week? I know it's because he's a great head coach and the extra time to prepare. But what are some of the little things that Andy Reid does really well that makes him so effective in this situation?
Yeah, every team self-scouts, not just during the bye week, but as the entire season is going on. And self-scouting, probably this year more than others, is extremely important for the Chiefs offensively with these wide receiver struggles. But I think what it is that they're able to almost hold back some things in the early portion of the season. I know at times Chiefs fans will roll their eyes even at that, like, all right, are you really holding anything back? These are NFL games. Anybody can beat anybody. We saw the Chiefs, of course, lose to the Broncos a couple weeks ago, but they had 5 turnovers in that game. I truly believe part of it is Andy Reid holds things back, and there's new wrinkles. There's going to be something tonight, guys, that we haven't seen yet this season. I'm not telling you that they're going to solve the wide receiver problems tonight, but there's going to be something, whether it's more playing time for somebody in that wide receiver room, a different way to utilize Kadarius Toney. There's going to be something we haven't seen, and he's probably better than anybody in the league right now, other than maybe Kyle Shanahan, of being creative in play calling. And so that's, I think, the key for them, that they're able to have some looks they showed in the first half of the season that is really setting up something here in the back half and maybe even tonight against Philadelphia.
Jenks, who is your Monday MVP? And you can go off menu if you'd like, sir.
Tommy DeVito, forget about it. Tommy. Hey, I'm a Commanders fan. However, I'll give it to Tommy. You know why? Because there's no way in hell the Giants should have won this game. And by the way, he was sacked like 9 times. I'm not making that up. Do you know how hard it is to win a football game, or how bad the other team must be when they sack you 9 times and you still find a way to win the game? Commanders also turned over the football 6 times. It was embarrassing. But this is a guy who was not drafted. I believe I said this statistic last week, where he is the first non-drafted quarterback to start in the National Football League since 1987, and that was a strike year. So I don't know when it's happened before that. So when you come out of nowhere, and I mean out of nowhere, except from New Jersey or wherever you're from, and you lead a team to a victory when you're a 9-10-point dog, when you probably don't have a place in the NFL. I'll say this about Tommy DeVito. He got sacked that many times, and he found holes in the zone. Big arm. He'll have this with him forever. I don't think anyone is going to say, oh, my God, 10 years from now, you mean NFL Hall of Famer Tommy DeVito? No. But he's always going to have this one. Got it done in a big spot. So good on Tommy DeVito. Reluctantly, I'll give it to him.
Oh, well, that's nice of you. I do think we had plenty of great candidates for MVP Monday this weekend, but I think I'm going to go off the menu, sir, and I'm going to have a special order, because I think a special order is due when somebody on the defensive side of the ball has such a stretch that we have seen with Jalen Ramsey. Don't know if you tuned into the Dolphins and Raiders game, but Jalen Ramsey was the game changer here. Not only did he have 2 interceptions, but they were 2 massively difficult interceptions, and one that sealed the deal for the Miami Dolphins in a game that was probably a lot closer than a lot of people imagined. So this is a narrative changer as well, because Jalen Ramsey has been called washed by many fan bases, and he's had a bit of an up and down career, and a lot of it has had to do with some of the injuries that he has sustained. He has only played 3 games for the Miami Dolphins. He has 3 interceptions in 3 games. If you look at the stats across the league, he's tied for 6th in the league in interceptions, and he's only played in 3 games. So what a stretch from Jalen Ramsey. Do yourself a favor. Watch that final interception in the Dolphins and Raiders game and tell me he is not your MVP of the weekend. So for me, MVP Monday, this Monday, is going to go to Jalen Ramsey of the Miami Dolphins.